All right, truck's packed up. I just crossed the New Hampshire border. The wife's behind me in her car. We're on our way up north to our property in Vermont, and I've got a little bit of a special mission this trip. I'm going to be heading an hour further north past our property to check out a four-wheeler that I found on Facebook Marketplace. So hopefully if that all checks out, I'll be coming back with what I think is going to be a pretty good deal for the property. So hang in there while I get us where we need to go, and we'll get into it. All right, so I made it back last night, and it wasn't until like late, till like after 9 o'clock, and it started raining pretty much on the way back, so it hasn't stopped. So I'll give you guys a quick peek, but I want to go ahead and get this out of here before I give you guys the walk around. But you can kind of see. Yeah, let me get this out of the bed, and I can give you a better view. So what you're about to see here is my 3 attempts and not a great grasp of geometry. So I turned my truck around because I was a little bit nervous, to be honest, because I've never taken something off ramps before. So I wanted to have less of an incline coming out. But you'll see here in a second is that I can't get it out because the plow is going to hit on the bottom. So I turned the truck around again, and you'll see I eventually get it out, but it was a little bit of a learning curve. The other thing is I didn't really get any footage of me getting the four-wheeler. I don't really like to record in public. I don't want to, burden people with trying to, take a camera out and record them. I don't know, it doesn't feel authentic to me. But overall, the guy was, super nice, even from the beginning. I reached out to him about a week ago on Marketplace when he first listed it, and, typical Vermonter, which made me feel a lot better. He was like, I called him up on the phone, and I'm like, asking him questions, and he's like, Devin, he's like, are you serious about this? He's like, if you are, I'll just take it off Marketplace, and you can get it. And I had told him at this point, I'm like, I probably can't come and get it till next week. So it was pretty generous of him to say he was going to take it down. I hadn't offered him anything yet. He was just going based on my interest in the machine. So super nice guy. I got there, he kind of walked me through all the history of the machine. Probably it was there for like an hour and a half. Gave me extra parts, stuff like that. And so when I had called, I knew this was I was expecting this to be a pretty good deal because it was $1,000. And what I had been seeing for Foreman's was at least $1,400 to $1,800 for something that's okay. Once they get up into $2,000, they're pretty decent or pretty clean, and then $3,000 and above, they're pretty pristine. So anyway, so far, good experience. I get it out of the truck and go from there. All right, so when I got it out of the truck, I noticed there was another issue. So when I backed it into the woodshed there, which is the entryway into the house, I was flipping through the gears and trying to find neutral, and the electric shift motor stopped working. So I think that's a dead battery, or I think that's a battery because I had it idling. And I don't think these alternators have high output where you can idle them. And I think I had the fan running. The headlight wasn't on, but and I know there's one of the things that the previous owner mentioned to me is that it has a little parasitic draw that after a few days you'll have to jump it. So I think all that at play. That might be what that is. But before I dig into that, I gotta do another errand. So I'll go ahead and turn you around and I'll show you what I mean. All right, and then I don't know if you can see these mugs. This is a Christmas present from my mother-in-law. I take AI and I'll take these pictures around the property and I'll put it into AI and I'll say, turn it into an illustration that would be good on a it would be good on a t-shirt or something like that. So she got me printed I don't know, 6 of these mugs. So I'm pretty happy. But so anyway, this is my next task here. So my wife wants to take the truck to go get some plants, and before I go mess with the four-wheeler, I wanted to just time this well. So I need to go get some ethanol-free fuel, which I can get at one gas station down the road, and then I got to get some diesel for the tractor. So I'm on the hunt right now. I haven't been to this gas station that has the ethanol-free fuel. I've only looked into it. There's this website called it's called Pure Gas, pure-gas.com or .org, and it will tell you all the places in your state that have ethanol-free fuel. So that's what I want to run in the ATV and all my other small engines. And so I'm going to go do that, see if I can track that down, get the diesel for the tractor. And then when I get back, I'll start tearing into the the four-wheeler, and hopefully it's just a dead battery. If not, there should be a emergency shift pedal that you can like bolt on, and it'll let you shift. So we'll see if we can get it started again, because I think it was in like third or fourth gear, because I drove it out of the woodshed because I didn't want it to get stuck in there, because it would have upset my mother-in-law and my wife. So if I had that four-wheeler just sitting in the entryway, so I got it out. So let's see. We'll see if I can get it going again. All right. There's something about driving through Vermont that's different than driving through other places. I don't know. I think if it were my wife, she would say, "Oh, that's that's all junk or whatever." But it's always interesting. I think actually here, this is the farm that we're getting new cows for our pasture from, or he'll be pasturing his cows on our pasture. But yeah, I don't know. I like driving through Vermont. The tractors and the old trucks and a lot of half-finished buildings and things like that. And yeah, I mean, it could be you could look at it and be like, oh, those people are poor, but it's also, it's not just that. I think Vermont's a lot more lenient on like the building and stuff like that. So you get like a lot more of like these kind of cool like little shacks and stuff like that. And outbuildings, versus in Massachusetts, it's very like regulated and it's hard to build. Everybody's up in your business, but in Vermont, you kind of let your neighbor do what your neighbor wants to do, and you kind of stay out of it, and it kind of leads to this kind of like eclectic array of different buildings and properties and things like that. So I don't know. I enjoy it, driving through. So, but anyway, this is we're on the road right now to Chelsea to go get the fuel. So I'll speed this up, and we'll see you when we get there. So I got lucky. I'm starting here with the off-road diesel, which I was planning on actually having to go to a different gas station for in the opposite direction. So I came here specifically for the ethanol-free fuel. But when I got here, I saw the pump, so I checked it out, and sure enough. So I'm just filling up. This is 15 gallons of the off-road diesel. And then here, this is the pump. This is, I think, 90. Ethanol free. I thought it was 87, which would have been fine for most of the stuff I'm running. I only need the high octane for like the chainsaws and stuff like that, so it would have been fine if it was 87, but it's 90, so that's fine. And then you can see here I paid, I think it was like 170. I think it was $5.55 a gallon for the diesel, and $5.50 for the gas, or sorry, $5.55 for the gas and $5.49 for the diesel per gallon. But anyway, so you can see here I backed in. This is the snatch block that I bought. And this actually went pretty well. This is like one of the first times like I unboxed something and was like able to pretty much like use it as expected. So there wasn't really like a lot of like tinkering. I just kind of threw it up there, untangled it, and yeah, worked as I expected it to. The line could be maybe a little bit tougher, maybe like a twine or something. And then you'll see here in a minute, I actually I always carry remnant Romex in the back of my truck because it works really good for tie downs. So, because I couldn't fit the hook around the handle, so I just tied a little loop of Romex and hooked it to that. But yeah, so this worked out well. There was a lag already in the top there, so I was able just to hook to that and then get this lifted and then let it down slowly. I can lift this out of the truck myself, but it's dicey. Like I have to get up in the truck, lift it, and then kind of like lower it down. And I have bad ankles, so I'm always like one step away from like falling or tripping. So, but And then if it wasn't me, if it was my father-in-law, I wanted this to be somewhat accessible. So, and I just don't want to break my back all the time. So, and the other thing with these is that they're gravity fed mostly. So they need to be up high. So that's actually the other reason I bought these snatch blocks. I plan to put these somewhere where I can mount them and get them up high and then set them. So we'll need the snatch blocks for getting them out of the truck, but also kind of setting them up somewhere where they're going to live. And there she goes in my truck off to the plant store. She complains about my truck being dirty and not liking it, but she doesn't complain too much when she has to haul plants or a couch off Marketplace. So yeah, this is exactly what I got this four-wheeler for. I'm heading up into the back field right now with these batteries. I had to bring back down to the house to recharge overnight, and then put them back in the solar field cam battery box. But I'm not going to be like, going on trails and like zipping around and stuff like that. It's more of, this is a utility or like a farm ATV. I can take my truck up into the backfield, or I can take the tractor up into the backfield, but I take my truck up here, it gets scratched up, or getting the tractor out. It just seems like overkill. I mean, maybe the tractor's out already, but it's a little bit slower. And this is kind of like the perfect middle ground. And then the other thing I got this for is I got that log dolly, that hitch log dolly. So getting into these tight spaces, there's nothing really else I can do that with. Like if we take a log, we take a log, I want to hook up to it. I can get this in pretty tight, and we should be able to pull it out no problem with the dolly, with the front and the rear wheels attached. So, but this is kind of perfect for what we're trying to accomplish. So right now my task is that these batteries went offline. Weirdly, actually, these batteries went offline, or I should say, I guess the solar battery box, the whole system went offline. I think in like January or like November or something. And then, I think it went offline in December. Yeah, in December, maybe after Christmas or something like that, like a few days later. And just went offline. It seemed like it was doing pretty well. But then, like, weirdly, like a month later, it came back online when, like, it was even darker. The days were even shorter. And then it came back online for like a week or something, like randomly. So I didn't expect it was going to come back until I had a chance to go up there and fiddle with it. And then after that, it went offline. So when I came up here originally, one of the panels was knocked down. I'm not sure if that was the reason or if that happened later. But I don't think I ever really properly recharged this because I didn't have a lithium charger. So the only thing that could really charge it was the battery box. And then I could get it close with a regular AGM car battery charger. So I brought these down to the house, charged them back up, topped them off, or I guess it's topped them off as well as I could because the trip we were getting ready to leave. So I was like, I got to get this back up there. So I probably actually could have charged them up more, but it's been a few days now and they're seeming to be okay. And then if I need to top them off again, I can go back up with the truck or whatever and plug it in and then finish it with the plug-in charger. But so this is like pretty great. I think this is exactly what we were looking for. To be able to get around the property and just do this kind of like little maintenance, follow along. If my father-in-law's in the tractor, I can ride this, or vice versa. Put the log dolly on it, and just get around. So overall, very happy with this. So yeah. All right, so quick debrief. I'm up here in the backfield. I just brought the batteries up for the solar field cam battery box. But overall, I mean, this is a pretty good purchase, pretty solid. Obviously, I had a little bit of trouble getting it out of the trailer. I had that issue with the shifter, but that was just a low battery. So really just like a learning curve, not really any fault of the machine at all. Had another issue with it where I brought my wife up and then I brought her back down just for a ride. And when I got back down to the house to let her off, I shut it off, but I shut it off in gear. And then the gear, like the shifts was working electrically, but it wasn't actually switching into neutral. So I couldn't get it started again. So I just had to like rock it a little bit because it was just like, I think it was tight on the gears. So the electric shift just didn't have the oomph to get it back into neutral so I could start it again. But a couple notes, I guess, for what I want to look at next time is the switch here for manual control of the fan. I got to get rid of that. I want to get back to the sensor because we're going to idle a lot probably, to be honest with this thing. So I don't want to have to think about it. And I did ride it, like I was riding up to our campsite on the other side of the road, and I could feel it was getting hot. So I don't want to have to think about running the fan. Maybe I'll keep it like as a manual override, but majority of the time I'd like it to be automatic. So there's that. I want to figure out that, like I wanted it to be able to idle, so I don't want to have to worry about killing the battery. So whatever, you know, if it's that or whatever the parasitic draw is that the original owner had, I want to track that down. And I'm not ready to necessarily say that I want to get like a high-powered alternator. I kind of want it to work as it should, although high-power alternator might be in the books because the other one is the headlight. I've seen people that have done it. They've taken a Foreman Rubicon and swapped on the headlamp from that and then done like an LED conversion. So I kind of like that like OEM kind of look, but I think LED headlights, and then also just as an accessory, get a nice like I want to get a nice headlamp. Because what I did when I came up here the other night, it was dark. I do this a lot. I took my flashlight and I put it up in my hat and I closed it. And the reason I want to do that is so I want a nice headlight on here for when I'm riding, but also, and I might do them on the front, because the other problem with that is I had the batteries right here. I came up here, grabbed the batteries, brought them back down to the house to recharge them. That's what I'm doing right now. But I had the batteries here when I was the dead ones, and they were blocking that. So even if I do the headlight on this, I think getting some like an LED light bar or like the individual spotlights on either side, do that. But what I liked about having it up on my head, in addition to being bright, is I could be able to I could look to my left and my right and light up, which was kind of nice. I kind of like that. So you don't get that with any of the other upgrades I just said with the headlamp upgrades. So do that. Do the plastics. I think I can get these mud flap, these outer ones. I can get replacements for these. The color doesn't actually look too bad. I've seen people do the heat trick, but so anyway, I got a few things. So I guess look out for that. This screen is smashed in, and I'd like to be able to see my speedometer. Obviously, I'm not going to get miles or my hours back because that would go with this. But just being able to, even just looking at it, I want it to look at it. I want it to not look busted. So I'm going to try to fix that. Might get a parts bike because, you know, by the time I start doing some stuff, accessories, you know, the back thing, the back basket, front basket, because I had to run straps to get the batteries up here, and that's a pain. So, you know, like little stuff like that, and I'm sure I'll think of more. I have a list. I know I'm not covering it all, but I think getting the battery to the point that it's not messing around. Oh, also the other one is I asked Gemini. I mentioned it is like I don't have to use choke to start it, and I think that means that I'm probably tuned a little bit too rich. I can hear it too when I'm riding it. Like I let off the fuel a little bit, it's like pop pop. So I think I'm a little rich. So I think I gotta probably adjust the carburetor to be leaner so that I should use the choke when I go to start it. Because if it's so rich right now that I can start it without the choke cold, it's probably too rich. So I think I can probably lean it out a little bit. But so I guess that's it for this one. I guess thanks for watching, and you know, look out for the next one. I don't know if it's going to be this video or what video, but yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys again. All right.